Now we're going to learn how to multiply and divide fractions. So please go ahead and open up your table of contents to concept number 9. Concept number 9, we're going to write multiplying and dividing fractions. Once again, I don't know what page number you guys are on, so go ahead and write the page number you're in. Alright, so I turn to a new page and go ahead and write down your title, Multiplying Fractions. Multiplying fractions is actually one of my favorite fractions because there's not much to it. So go ahead and write down the 3 steps that it'll take to multiply fractions. Step number 1, you're going to multiply numerators. Multiply numerators. So when I multiply 4 times 3, that's going to give me 12. Step number 2, you're going to multiply denominators. So you're going to multiply these denominators here. And that's just going to give you 40. Step number 3, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to simplify if necessary. So in this case, I'm left with 12 over 40, and you just go ahead and find a factor that you can reduce 12 and 40. If you can't find a factor, remember they're both even numbers, so you can use 2. In this case, I can use 4 for my numerator and my denominator, so it's going to be 3 over 10. And 3 is a prime, so there's nothing else that I can reduce it by. That's it. That is multiplying fractions there. Let's go ahead and down to our practice. I wrote 6 problems right here for our practice, so go ahead and pause so you can write these down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to multiply these fractions. So 5 times 5, 25. 6 times 12 will give me 72. So now I need to figure out, do they simplify or is this it? So there's no common number between 72 and 25, so that's it. That's my fully reduced problem. See my different number 2. Remember, we're just going to multiply numerator and denominator. 64 over 132. Here you do have to actually reduce. So in this case, I need to figure out a number that goes into both 64 and 132. So I know that they have a common number of 4. 64 divided by 4 will give me 16. And 132 divided by 4 will give me 33. And that's it. That is my fully simplified fraction. Number 3, I have 45 over 120. Once again, they do have a factor because here's another trick. You see how that's a 5 and that's a 2? Think about money. Zeros always have a repeating pattern of 5, and so do 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, they have repeating patterns. So they can always reduce this by 5. So I'm going to reduce this by 5, and that's going to give me 9. 120 divided by 5, that's going to give me 24. In this case, 5 wasn't my full number to factor, but that's okay. You can still continue factoring. I can factor a 3 in here, and so I have 3 over 8, and that is my final reduced answer. 2 over 72, well, this one's straightforward. I can reduce it by 2, and that will just give me 136. So for number 5, it's going to look a little tricky, but it's not at all. Whenever you have a whole number, always put it over 1. Now you can multiply across. 64 over 11. 64 divided by 11. That is fully reduced because 11 is going to be a prime. So in this case here, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is you're going to turn this into an improper fraction. So I have 90 plus 1, that was going to give me 91 over 9 times 80 over 8. So 80 plus 8 will give me 88 over 10. Just multiply across. I got 91 times 88, which will give me 8,008 over 90. Now I'm just going to cheat and I'm going to use my calculator for this one. And that means that I have 4,004 over 45. Just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to leave it as an improper fraction. And that's it. Now, next page, we are going to divide fractions. So go ahead and pause the video and take down all of these steps. When you are dividing fractions, they're similar to multiplying, but it's a little bit of different things. So step 1. Now I'm going to use this example right here. you're going to keep your first fraction. So you're going to keep the first fraction. So what you're going to do is, looking at this problem, I'm going to keep 1/3. So meaning this is my first fraction. So write this first, and this is your second. You can keep your first fraction. Step number 3, you're going to change the division sign into a multiplication sign. So change to multiplication. So you see how there's a division sign? I'm just going to put a little dot, which represents multiplication. Step number 3, you're going to flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. So when you flip something, that means you're taking the reciprocal of it. So when you flip 4/5, that's going to turn into 5/4. So you're going to flip the second fraction. Last, you're going to follow the rules of multiplication. So multiply your fractions. So when we multiply fractions, we got 5/12. Now we need to figure out, okay, well, do they need to be reduced? No, because 5 is a prime number. That is it. That's all we do when we divide fractions. So turn to a new page, or if you have room on that page, we're going to have practice. So once again, our first step, you're going to keep your first fraction, 2/12. You're going to change that division sign. So here's the key. Keep, change, flip. Okay, that's easier for you to understand. You're going to keep your first fraction, you're going to change this into a multiplication problem, and you're going to flip your second fraction, 10/2. Multiply across, 20/24, and just simplify if you need to. Simplify. So in this case, I know they're both even numbers, so I can use, in this case, 4. So I have 5/6. 5 is a prime, so I don't need to do anything else. Next, remember, keep, change, flip. So now I'm going to keep the first fraction, I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to flip my fraction below, 15/36. Now I'm going to reduce 15 and 36. I can reduce both my numerator and denominator by 3, so I'm left with 5/12. So, number 3, keep, change, flip, multiply. 4/4, and that's just going to leave me with 1. Number 4, remember if you have a whole number, put it over 1. You're going to keep, change, and flip. That's going to give me 56/7, which will just give me 8. And we'll just eliminate number 5 and 6, and that is it on practicing on multiplying and dividing fractions.